It was 2 a.m. I was sitting alone in a dim room, that soft yellow light spilling across the desk, my laptop still open, work long finished, everything on the surface, looking fine. And yet, something inside me felt off. Not tired, not sad, just empty. That strange kind of emptiness, like you finally reached what you wanted, and somehow you feel nothing at all. I looked into the window, caught my own reflection staring back at me, and for a second, it didn't feel like me. "Who are you?" I muttered, almost without thinking. And then, a voice answered, "Well, took you long enough to ask." I froze. "Who are you?" "I'm everything you buried, just to become someone people would like." And right then, I knew this wasn't imagination anymore. If any part of that feels a bit too familiar, fair enough, you're not alone. Most people think their problem is exhaustion, but the truth is, they're living a life that doesn't belong to them. And that's where everything starts to crack. You're not broken. You're not weak. There's nothing wrong with you. You've just been wearing a mask for far too long. According to Carl Gustav Jung in Time's The Undiscovered Self *, people don't suffer because they lack something. They suffer because they are divided within themselves. There's a version of you that gets accepted, and there's a version of you that gets buried. The accepted version, polite, stable, easygoing, never too much, never a problem. The buried version is the anger you never let out, the ambition you labeled too much, the selfishness you were taught to suppress, the wild, powerful, fully alive part of you. Jung called it the shadow. And here's the part no one really tells you. The shadow doesn't disappear. It waits, quietly, patiently. The more you try to be good, the more it grows in silence. The more you try to control everything, the more it pushes back. The more you try to stay stable, the more it leaves you feeling empty. I remember one moment, clear as day. I was sitting with a friend, everything perfectly normal, and out of nowhere, I snapped. Sharp, unnecessary, a bit ugly, if I'm honest. My friend looked at me, calm as anything, and said, "Are you sure you're angry at me?" I said nothing. "Or are you angry at yourself?" That one hit straight through, because that's how the shadow speaks. Not through words, through reactions. According to behavioral psychology, the traits you dislike most in others are often the ones you haven't accepted in yourself. You hate arrogance? Maybe you've never allowed yourself to feel confident. You hate selfish people? Maybe you've been sacrificing so much, you run yourself into the ground. You hate coldness? Maybe you've been forced to be nice for far too long. This is called projection. You don't see it in yourself, so you see it out there. And then you reject it. But it doesn't stop there. There's a more dangerous form, self-sabotage. You start something, full of energy, and then you quit. You get a great opportunity, and somehow you mess it up. You get close to happiness, and then you pull yourself back down. You think it's a discipline problem. It's not. A part of you doesn't believe in the person you're trying to become. And that's when the shadow steps in. Not to destroy you, but to stop you, to make you look. If you've ever found yourself in that loop, you might want to sit with this next part. I once asked myself, why do I keep ruining everything? The answer didn't come quickly. It came slowly, uncomfortably, because you're building a life you don't actually want to live. Bit harsh, right? But rather spot on. You're not tired because you're doing too much. You're tired because you're doing the wrong things. You're not exhausted because life is hard. You're exhausted because you're performing. According to the brain's dopamine and reward system, your mind doesn't just need rewards. It needs meaning. If your actions don't align with your identity, dopamine doesn't hit the same. And what you feel is emptiness. That's why you can achieve a lot and still feel hollow, because you're not really in it. You're just playing a role. Now here comes the question most people are afraid to ask. If I accept my shadow, won't I become a bad person? No. You already have it. You're just not aware of it. A person who knows they're capable of doing harm but chooses not to, is far stronger than someone who has no idea what they're capable of. That's the difference between control and unconsciousness. Not everyone is manipulating you. Most people are just unconscious, and so are you. At times, I remember another conversation. What are you afraid of? I'm afraid that if I'm truly myself, people will leave. And are you sure they're staying for who you really are? Silence. That was the moment everything shifted. You're not afraid of being abandoned. You're afraid of being seen. You're afraid people will see the real you because you haven't accepted it yourself. And that's why you're tired. Not because life is heavy, but because you're carrying too many layers. Persona, the mask, shadow, the hidden self. They're pulling you in opposite directions. One wants acceptance, the other wants truth, and you're stuck in the middle, torn. But here's the twist. You don't have to choose. You need to integrate. According to Carl Gustav Jung in Time's The Undiscovered Self**, this process is called individuation. It's not about becoming better. It's about becoming whole. You don't remove the shadow. You understand it. You don't kill it. You learn how to use it. Your anger becomes boundaries. Your selfishness becomes self-respect. Your wildness becomes creativity. And that's when your energy comes back. Because energy comes from wholeness. You lose energy when you're divided. You gain it when you're integrated. I started doing something quite simple. Every time I disliked someone, I asked myself, where does this exist in me? Every time I wanted to quit, I asked, am I escaping something? Every time I felt empty, I asked, who am I living for? These questions, they're not easy, but they're real, and they change everything. You're not lost. You're waking up, but awakening isn't pretty. It's messy, uncomfortable, sometimes lonely, because you start to see clearly. And once you see clearly, you can't go back. Pain doesn't just break you, it guides you. If this resonates even a bit, go on, leave a comment, share your thoughts. Because here's the final truth. You can't heal what you refuse to face. You can't be real if you're still performing. And you can't become whole if half of you is still left in the dark. I'm not saying you need to change everything overnight. Just start with one thing. Stop running. Sit down and listen. There's a voice inside you. It's not loud, but it's real. It's not always kind, but it's honest. And it's been waiting for you. So the question is, do you have the courage to hear it? Because in the next part, we're going to walk through how to speak directly with your shadow. And what you find there might just change your entire life.